Hey, if you're thinking of moving to Toronto, there's a lot to know. Let me give you an overview of Toronto. Now, I'm Sandrina Matto, and if this is your first time on this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play in Toronto, make sure you tap that subscribe button and click the bell so you'll be notified every time we post a new video. And honestly, we get so many calls and emails and texts every single day from people moving from across Canada, moving from somewhere else in the city, moving from somewhere in the province, and of course, moving from some wonderful country around the world. And we love to help each and every one of them. So if you're thinking about moving anywhere in Toronto or the GTA, make sure you give us a call or shoot us an email or hit the Calendly link below to book an appointment. I mean, days, nights, weekdays, weekends, we got your back when you're moving to Toronto. Now let's get into it. Let's do an overview of Toronto. I mean, this is a massive city. If you watched any of my other videos, you know it is the fourth largest city in North America. There's Mexico City, New York, LA, TO. Yeah, we're number 4 now. So if you take out Mexico City, we're number 3 between Canada and the US. We're the largest in Canada, and that comes with some issues. You know, we're growing constantly. We have a lot of immigrants coming here, and we are having trouble finding homes for everybody, which, you know, your supply and demand from high school, of course, that makes the prices go up, both with rentals and purchasing. But here's the good news. And if you're Canadian and you sell your property, I mean, there's a very good chance it's tax-free profit, tax-free equity in your home. Now, there are some caveats. So, of course, you have to talk to your tax accountant and your lawyer. This is not financial advice. You know, you could have capital cost appreciation that you took against the property. So that would negate some of your tax-free equity. But generally speaking, when you sell your home that you live in and have lived in, it's tax-free, which is a good thing. So you can make any amount of money, 1 million, 2 million, and not pay the government a penny. I know in Toronto, people complain about the prices of real estate. I know. I mean, I do this every day, and I have sons who need to buy in Toronto, so I feel the pain. But I also know that the Toronto real estate market over the years has made many people millionaires, very wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. And this can happen in a short amount of time, relatively speaking. I mean, real estate is a long-term game, right? If you are looking to get in and get out and make a huge profit, I mean, that's gambling. But if you're looking at purchasing a home, it is a long-term investment. Anything can happen, of course. So you make your money. This is a real estate rule. You make your money when you purchase, which means you need to make a really good decision when you are buying real estate. And that's where my real estate team and I come in, because we really want to listen to you and hear what your thoughts are, what your long-term range plans are, what you need now, what your lifestyle is like, because we can help you determine what kind of budget you have. We can help you determine where that's going to get you a home, what your options are. You know, if you have children or no children, then you might want to live in this area versus that area. Are schools important to you? Is your commute to work important to you? Or maybe where you go to the gym or play hockey or whatever it is that's important to you. We listen to all of that and we offer up a bunch of viable options for you to make an informed decision. So never go in blind. Contact us at any time to ask us questions and to work for you. Would be honored to help you move to our beloved city and surrounding area. Now, I'm going to show you a map of the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto Area, because it's huge. Just to give you some perspective, because you can't tell from just looking at a map, right? So I'm going to tell you, to go from Burlington in the west to Clarington in the east, we're talking 138 kilometers along the 401. That would take you, okay, on a really good day, about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. I mean, it can take you an hour to get from Etobicoke to downtown Toronto on a bad day. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea of how big the GTA is. And when you look at all of those sections, and I'm going to break them down in other videos, but when you look at them, they were developed at certain times. They have a certain unique flavor to them. Some of them, for example, in the north, offer new housing developments. So, housing developments of several hundred homes, maybe a variety of different developers and builders that you can choose from, different price points. You're going to take into consideration lifestyle and transportation, and of course, amenities that are important to you. So when you are looking at the GTA, you can't just sit there and, throw a dart and say, yeah, that's where I'm gonna live. I mean, certainly your budget is going to determine where you can buy, and we will help with that. And also, more importantly, your lifestyle and how you use a property. Maybe a condo apartment is good for you. If you are, for example, a woman moving here on your own, maybe you want the safety of a condo apartment. Or maybe you want to be right downtown and you don't have millions to spend, but you have enough to buy yourself a nice condo downtown Toronto where all the action is. Then that's where we'll show you places, and that's what we'll talk to you about. We'll do research for you and with you and take you there and show it to you, and you can decide if it's right for you. If you're a family, maybe you want to go out east or west to Oshawa, or maybe Milton. Great areas for young families. Newer townhomes, newer singles, semi-detached or semis we call them, are two houses that are attached in the middle. Okay, so you've got one here and one here. You've got attached row houses, which is another kind of house that's available, say, in the Junction in Toronto. It's a little bit more urban, much more urban than, say, Milton or Oshawa, but it still has a real community feel. Most of the housing, I would say, is a semi-detached in the Junction, but you also get detached houses, you get attached row houses, you get some townhomes, and they're building condos there as well. Mid-rises, lots of variety there. And the Junction's really cool because you have a whole area of artisan shops, cheese shops, one-offs. These are not chain stores, and great restaurants that are also one-offs, and startups and locally run businesses. And people go there, they really support them, and they get that community feel. You get that in the annex as well. And so many varieties of neighborhoods in Toronto. I mean, I can't name them all. I think there's something like 158 of them. So we can't cover them all, but I can give you sort of a general feel of what all of these areas are looking like. Like if you want those big box stores, then you're going out to Mississauga or Oshawa. You don't get a lot of them in, say, the Kingsway. You're not going to find those big box stores, but you're a relatively short drive depending on the traffic. Some areas are more pedestrian friendly. Others are more bikeable. We have something called a walk score here in Toronto. And of course, proximity to the airport might be important to you, or proximity to downtown or west, north, east. You can't go much further south because we're right on Lake Ontario. So if you go further south, you're going to get wet. Now, traveling on the highways can be painful, to say the least. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Seems like there's traffic on the 401 any time of day, even though we keep widening it to add lanes, so it's constantly under construction. It seems like it's not true, but we do widen the lanes, but there's still so many people living and driving in Toronto that it's congested. So the 401 goes east-west, and it goes right across the city. It goes all the way to Quebec, which is another province to the east of us, and to the west of us, it goes all the way to the American border where Detroit is, and on the Canadian side, it's Windsor. You also have the 407. Now that is a toll road, and that runs east-west, but it might give you an option if you want to avoid traffic. Now there is something called a transponder that you might want to look into if you do plan to travel on the 407 a lot, but it'll capture your license plate and you'll get a bill in the mail. How convenient. There's the QEW and Gardiner, which is on the south end going east-west across the city. The Gardiner is pretty much taking you into Toronto. The QEW is further west, and it'll take you to Niagara if you want to go there. Yeah, you're about an hour and a half to Niagara Falls, Niagara on the Lake, some really great little small towns along the way. So those are the east-west major routes. Then you've got north, south. You've got the Highway 400, which will take you to Barrie, for example. You've got the 404, which will take you to Newmarket and Aurora, as an example. And then, of course, you have the Don Valley Parkway, which will take you down to Toronto from the 401. And of course, you have a whole melee of city streets. Now, be careful. There are some one-ways, and there's, King Street, for example, beyond Bathurst, so east of Bathurst, you can only travel one block before you have to turn your car and get off King Street. Otherwise, you're going to get a ticket. So those are things you have to be aware of. There's also some construction going on all the time with new housing developments, new condos. I mean, at any given time, there's construction, there's one-ways, there's construction of condos, and then, of course, adding more and more bike lanes to Toronto's city streets, which some people hate and some people love. If you're riding your bike to work or to get around town, you're going to love the bike lanes, right? You're going to feel a lot safer. In and around Toronto, you have different neighborhoods that are based in cultures. Like you have in Roncesvalles, it's Polish, and Bloor West Village, it's Ukrainian. You have on College Street, you have Little Italy, and you have Chinatown, up Spadina area. Each of these areas is really somewhere you should go and try some of the cuisine and go into some of the shops and talk to the locals there. They each have their own vibe, and it's really important that you get to know your city that way. Great universities, we've got U of T, we've got Toronto Metropolitan, we've got York University up in the northern part of the city, Sheridan College offering a variety of skills for you to learn, and also George Brown. We have schools for the arts, we have French schools, we have French immersion, we have private schools, we have Catholic schools, we have Toronto Public Schools, tons of parks, including off-leash parks for your fur baby. We have 2 airports, Toronto Pearson International, as well as Toronto Island. So depending where you're going and where you're coming from, in the sense of where you live in the city, you can choose either airport to fly from. We have public transit, the TTC, Toronto Transit Commission. We have GO trains, commuter trains. We have streetcars. We have an extensive bus network with schedules that you can check to see how long it'll take you to get somewhere, how often the buses come. Right now, I'm sitting in front of High Park, which is a beautiful area, and lots of locals love to use it. And also, people come from far and wide to see the cherry blossoms in the spring. It's well used, lots of sports and activities, tennis, swimming, Tai Chi in the park, yoga in the park, bird watching. There are camps for young children. There's a zoo. There's a wading pool. At Halloween, they float their pumpkins and little candles. Really great activities happening. And there are parks like this around the city and around the GTA. So if you want to know more about Toronto, keep watching my videos or reach out. I'd love to talk to you. I love to talk about Toronto and the GTA. I've lived here all my life. And not only that, I love to talk about real estate. So whatever your questions are, whatever your concerns are, either use the Calendly link to book a call with me and we can chat, or you can email or text using the information below. See ya.